Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to my July financial wrap-up. Okay, if you are new here, welcome. I am starting on a new journey of learning how to be more financially responsible and also trying to become debt-free. You know, every grown adult's goal in life to be debt-free, and I am finally at almost 30 starting on the journey because I have recognized that I have a problem with how I spend my money, and I would rather live a life where I don't have to think about money as often, if that makes sense. Like, I want to be able to go and take trips whenever I want to and not have to think twice about it, and just like live the life that I want to live without having so much financial stress. And so we are embarking on what I know is going to be a very hard journey, but I also know that it's going to be so worth it. So hopefully you find these videos relatable, and also they maybe help inspire you if you are also wanting to start a journey being debt-free. If you are already on your journey currently, which kudos to you if you are. We're in this together. We got this. We can do it. So yeah, if you want to learn a little bit more about where I'm starting out at and the whys and the hows and all of that, I'll have the first video explaining everything linked up here for you guys to go and check out. But yeah, otherwise, let's jump into the wrap-up for July. So I want to preface this wrap-up with two excuses, because that's what they are. The first being that I decided I wanted to start on this financial journey in the middle of the month of July, after I had already spent a lot of extra money on Halloween decorations and just overspending on things that that were not necessities, and things that I wanted and not things that I needed, and all of that. So we had that factor working against me as far as, you know, doing good with money. And the second excuse is that I had a vacation in the month of July. I ended up going to Cape Cod with two of my best friends, one of whom is getting married. So it was a bachelorette trip that I was not gonna miss, because I have been best friends with this girl since I was like 2 years old. Okay, we were born to be best friends, and same with the other girl that went on the trip. We have been childhood friends for my entire life, almost, their entire lives for sure. So yeah, I was not going to be missing out on going on this bachelorette trip to celebrate her and her upcoming nuptials. So there were definitely a lot of expenditures happening, because vacations are expensive in general, and I am the kind of person who I'm gonna spend the money when I'm on vacation, because I love to eat and try out new places and new foods, and I would much rather spend the money and have the experiences and the memories than regret not spending any money while I'm on the trip, if that makes any sense. Hopefully it does. I don't know. When it comes to vacations, I don't limit myself. Put it that way. Those were my two excuses as to why these numbers are going to be so much higher in the month of July than they will be in any other month. And I'm putting that out there right now. I'm manifesting this, because we cannot have months continue to look like this if we actually want to achieve our goals. So here we go. Like I had mentioned in the first video, I had a spending tracker for the month of July where I just wrote out everything that was not a bill and just listed it all out. And then here at the end of the month, I went through and I totaled up everything for each of the categories that I listed out in the spending tracker. If you watched the first video, you might remember that I had 5 different categories for the spending tracker, color-coded obviously. We had necessities, so gas, groceries, things like that. The non-essentials, so Halloween decorations, books, anything like that. I had content related things, so if I went to a place specifically to film content for it, or a restaurant specifically to film content for it. And then I had an eating out category, so any time that I went to a restaurant or whatever, put that there. And then I also had an eBay/reselling category, which is one that I'm going to be moving over to my monthly bills for the time being. Somebody had commented on my first video saying that I actually could probably get rid of my eBay fees that I have every month, because I don't necessarily need to have a store to sell things and stuff. I'm going to look into it a little bit more before I completely cut it out, but regardless, that's going to be moved off of the spending tracker. And I also decided that I'm going to be removing the content related category from the spending tracker, because like it would be different if I was getting paid for the content that I make, but honestly it's just me asking my friends to go out to eat with me or go to things that I was already planning on going to go to, like events and whatever. And I just didn't feel like it really needed its own separate category, because there's so much overlap with the non-essentials and the eating out that it didn't matter. It didn't matter. So that left me with 3 different categories to total things up for: necessities, non-essentials, and eating out. So in the month of July, I spent $444.54 on necessities. $102 was for gas. $131.15 was for groceries, which I think that that's going to be a pretty like low end as far as how much I will typically spend in a month on groceries, just because I was gone for a good chunk of the month of July on vacation and all that. So honestly, that's probably going to be a fairly like on the low end of the groceries. We'll see. I spent $135 on lawn care. I do have a guy who comes and mows my lawn for me. I don't own a mower. This guy's been mowing my lawn since I rented this place, and now that I own it, I just continue to let him come and mow my lawn, and it's $45 every time he comes to mow it. I'm going to continue with this because I actually have a really big lawn for living in town. Like, I have almost a whole freaking acre here in town, and that would mean that I would need to purchase a riding lawnmower, and I don't want to do that. I don't have the time to mow my lawn. I don't have anywhere to store a riding lawnmower at this time. And Dylan always does a great job, so I really have no desire to change that. Maybe if it really does start to get to be an issue financially and I have to cut something, we'll look into it. But for right now, that is one convenience that I am not going to be getting rid of. And then finally, I spent $76.11 on the cats in the month of July for like their food, because it's obviously a necessity that they eat as well. Some days it's usually a higher necessity than my own eating because they're my babies and they have to come first. But that is honestly going to be on the high end for the months, upcoming months, I would assume, because I I missed canceling one of the Chewy auto ships for their food. So actually we got a double order of their dry food that they typically get. Well, we got a double order of dry food, one with their new dry food and one of their old dry food. So they're gonna be set for a few months here. So I don't anticipate the cat's necessity bill for the next few months to be near that high, because all we're going to be buying is wet food at this point. So that's good. At least it'll be lower. For the non-essentials category, I spent $1,329.47 on non-essentials. $452.92 was for decorations, mainly Halloween, although there were some like other random home decor things thrown in there. $98.39 was spent on books, and the rest was just other random things like clothes and I don't even know what, a trip to Starbucks and the Airbnb that we stayed at for on the bachelorette trip, my portion of the Airbnb, that was part of the cost. That was $300. So it was a pretty big chunk of change for that. And then just, yeah, some other random like events and things I did on the trip and just throughout the month, all totaled up to that category, which is over half of my bills and almost half of my total income for the month of July. Yay. So see, clearly we have a problem here. Again, these numbers are not going to be this high every single month, okay? Like I had mentioned, the excuses at the beginning of the video, please remember these things. These numbers are crazy, these numbers are ridiculous, these numbers will never be this high again. Okay, so then that leaves us with our final category for our spending tracking in the month of July, and that's eating out. And I spent a total of $437.83. If you remember from the first video, I had set my eating out budget at $240, and we almost doubled that in the month of July. Now, I will say, when I am on vacation, I will spend the money on food. I absolutely love going to new food places and trying out food, and when we were, well, anytime that I find myself on one of the coasts, the food out there is just so much better than the food that I generally get here in the Midwest. It's just so much fresher and healthier, and just, it tastes better. I don't know if it's just because I'm on vacation or what it is, but the food is something that I will never pass up on when I am on vacation. I will spend the money and I will not regret spending a single penny of it on food. So that, again, is way higher than it is ever going to be because I was on vacation. But yeah, I will never be spending that much money on eating out in a month again. Talking about all these numbers, one thing that I didn't do that I am kind of curious about is I want to see how much I spent on non-bill related items. So I'm going to total up all three of these categories that I just listed off and see how much I spent, because I have a feeling that I have almost spent more than what I made in the month of July, and I just want to see if that's true for no reason other than my own curiosity. Yes, so on the non-bill stuff, I spent a total of $2,211.84 in the month of July. My expenses for the month of July totaled an average of $2,200, which means that I spent $4,411.84. Okay, $4,411.84 I spent. I made, and these are going to be actual numbers, so let's see how much I actually brought in the month. $3,370.23. So I overspent by $1,100 in the month of July. It is no wonder that we had some really stressful weeks there where the bank account was terrifyingly low. It is no wonder. And this is, again, this is why we are on this journey, because months like this, like that overspenditure and all of that has been happening on a very regular basis. So clearly something needs to change, and something is changing, and thankfully, because I'm not doing this anymore. I am not having these weeks where I am freaking out because I only have $30 in my bank account total, like between savings and my checking account. $30 is all I have to work with. That is not okay. It is not acceptable. No. In the very first video, the part one of all of this, I went and I created a budget with you guys. I kind of was just making things up as I was going along, because I I don't want to say that I don't like budgeting. No one likes budgeting. I just don't really know how to make the most accurate budget, if that makes sense. And thankfully a lot of you guys have commented on that first video and were giving me some tips on how to do that, and also some other pages and stuff to check out. I haven't gotten too far into looking into those things yet, but I am gonna go over now the budget that I have and that I had set for the month of July or whatever, and we're gonna go through and kind of like talk about adjustments and things that I want to make to it, just based on what I expect to see moving forward out of the crazy month that July was spending wise. So I'm gonna bring you down to me. This is the budget that we made in the first part. Okay, so we had my income totaling at around $3,400 a month. This was averaging $850 per paycheck, which I literally just calculated all this up and I didn't write it down, what the actual income was, because that's going to help us adjust a little bit more. So here's all of the paychecks. Let's just go through and total this up one more time. So that is the actual amount. So we weren't, honestly, we weren't far off. I know some people had commented that I needed to average the lowest paycheck amount, so 840 instead of 850, which I am going to go ahead and do moving forward, just because then that way this overture is like, ooh, a little surprise, you know, and we're not having like actual thinking that we are making more money than we actually are, because our income, our estimated budgeted income should not be higher than the actual income ever, because then we're like budgeting with more money than we actually have, and that's not okay. So yeah, and then expenses are going to be going up a little bit in the month of August. We'll talk about that, but this is a pretty good average that I'm willing to stick with and work with. The adjustments that I'm planning on making is I am going to move the income down to $3,300 a month. So we're gonna change that to $3,300 a month. And then if we have overages like this, like I said, fun little surprise. I'm gonna keep the expenses the same, which means that I don't know why I just used a calculator for that. I could do that math. We really have $1,100 to divvy up every month. This $600 on groceries a month for one person is insanity. I don't know why I thought that that was a smart number to budget for groceries. Absolutely ridiculous. We're going to be changing that to $200 a month, which I still think is probably a little high, but I would rather have more money for food than more money for fun stuff or like eating out. You know, I would much rather have more money to cook with and make things at home than most of this other stuff. So that saves us $400 already, so that's great. The gas I am going to bring up to $100 because it's busy this time of year. I am going to Wichita a lot. I have some doctor's appointments and things coming up where I have to go to Wichita for, and I've been going like on weekends, different places, so I think it's going to be smart to just raise this up just a little bit to $100. We're going to be taking this eating out down to $100 because honestly $100 for eating out in a month is still really high, but I do really enjoy going and trying new restaurants and food and all of that, and I like making content about it on TikTok and like whatever. So it's one of my joys in life that I'm not willing to fully eliminate, but I am willing to have a reduction in it, reduce it a little bit. Fun stuff we're going to keep at $100, so that means whatever's left over is going to be going to the debts. So if we have $1,100 and we subtract out $200 for groceries, that leaves us with $900. Subtract out $100 for gas, we're at $800 for eating out, we're at $700, and $100 for fun, we're at $600 total. Should be going to our debts every month, which, that's wild. If we can stick to this, oh my gosh, everything's gonna be paid off so quickly, which is exactly what we want to hear. So speaking of debts, let's go ahead and take a look at our 4 main debts that we are working on paying off right now. So we have our Capital One credit card payment sitting at this terrible number. Our Discover credit card payment sitting at an even more horrendously high number. Advantage and First Mark, both of these are student loans. Youch, and not so bad. My goal with these is to still use the avalanche method. I think that's what it is called. Snowball method? That's the one. Snowball method. We're going to start from the smallest debt and work our way up to the biggest debt, just because I need that motivation to keep moving on paying these debts down. I know, like, I hate that we're keeping the high interest rate credit card up here, leaving it pretty untouched and letting that interest just pound us every single month, because that's just throwing money out the window. But if I don't see a ton of progress, I'm gonna feel like it's just hopeless. I'm not moving anywhere. I'm gonna give up, and it's not going to work. I just know me, and I know that's how I function. So this is what we're going to be doing. We're gonna focus on this one first, and this, hopefully, I mean, if we're putting that, you know, if we actually are able to put $600 toward our debt every single month, that is gonna be gone like that, which is what I want to see. It's gonna be freaking amazing. So, in July, we did make some payments on the debts, of course. The First Mark payment, this is down from what it was at the start of July, which is good. This is down, the Advantage from the start of July. The Capital One amount is also down from where we started at in July. However, the Discover credit card payment the Discover debt, however, did go up in the month of July because I did end up using this on vacation to buy some unnecessary items, some non-essentials from Black Craft Cult, because I had no self-control. That's all that there was. I was not able to practice self-control. So that's what happened. One thing that I do think I'm going to do with the credit card payments that somebody actually commented on in like on the part 1 video, is they suggested that I make 2 payments, like split up the payment for the credit cards into 2 separate payments and then do that, and it should help my credit score go up, and it should also help keep the interest lower, hopefully, from like the interest that I accrue on these. So that is one thing that I do want to try here in the month of August. I'm filming this on August, what day is it today? The 10th, I think. So the Capital One payment is going to be coming due here within the next week. So I am going to have to make, I would say, let's half this payment. We'll just cut the payments in half and do that like that. So I'm going to have to make that first payment soon and then pay the rest of it on the day that that's due. And same here. But yeah, that's one thing that I do think that I'm going to try and implement here in the month of August. But overall, the debt is going down. It has decreased. So that is great. That is good. That is exactly what we want to see. So looking ahead to August here, or I guess maybe not ahead, but like to where we're at now, I did go ahead and list out all of my August bills once again, just like I had done for July, and all of my paydays and things like that over here. This is my full-time job, part-time job over here. I still want to continue my thought process of putting whatever I make from my part-time job straight into my savings, because I do want to build that up. I want to make sure that I have $1,000 for an emergency fund in my savings, and then I also want to have enough money to cover my house taxes that are going to be coming out in December, which are a little over $1,100. So I'm going to need a total of $2,200 in my savings account to feel secure enough. So I'm going to continue putting these paychecks that I get from the second job into the savings until we hit that number. And then once we are there, we can maybe start putting them towards debt until it is time to start saving for the first half of house taxes, because they come out twice a year. So yeah. Hopefully we'll hit the number soon. I did end up closing one of my savings accounts that I had at a separate bank, cashing all of that out so that way I can put it into my savings. I did take out some of the cash for like vacation and all of that, but I do have a good start here for savings. So there's 100, 200, put that over there, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, $750. So if our total is 2,200, I know I could probably do that math in my head too. We got $1,500 left to go until we are done saving up with these paychecks. So definitely have a little bit of a journey ahead of us, but it's okay. We're gonna keep it up and we're gonna get there. But anyway, this is kind of a look. As I mentioned earlier, our expenses are gonna go up for the next months because I am training for a half marathon now, and that means that the Runna half marathon training plan is back in place. This just makes my life so much easier. I love using Runna for my half marathon plans. It is worth every single penny that I pay for it. I will not cancel this until I am done training. So this will be here until at least through October, this additional $20. Another difference that you'll see up here in the bills for the month of August is that there is no more Audible subscription. So we pretty much just kind of traded out Runna for Audible, because Audible was $15 a month. This is $21. It was almost a complete switch there, but I am going to be continuing with my Spotify subscription because I get audiobook hours from that every month included with my subscription. And I have another audiobook subscription that needs to be added to this. It's not on here that I use. And then I'm also going to be planning on using Libby through my local library for all my books. Audible just was not necessary, and I felt like I could easily cut it. I also have my Kindle Unlimited. I got plenty of ways to get books. So yeah, everything else on here I am keeping for the time being. If it really does come to it and I need to cancel some more things, probably we'll start looking at Hulu, Disney Plus, those extra subscriptions. But for now, I feel confident with what we got, that this is okay, that I can handle this. So there is the month of August. The spending tracker has already been started. Again, like I said, we're gonna be keeping only these 3 categories: necessities, non-essentials, and eating out. And I have started filling it in already. And look at all of the eating out that I've already been doing this month. That is so sad. The rest of the month we need to be better, obviously, if we want to hit our goals. So, yeah, that's where we're at with all of that. I'm gonna go ahead and make up a new budget and make it all pretty. Hopefully we're able to stick to this a little bit better here in the month of August. Okay, and so finally, to round out my financial wrap up here, I wanted to do something that I've seen another creator here on YouTube do, Nicole Burgess. She started doing a no buy, low buy kind of a thing, and also talked about her monthly empties, things that she went throughout the month, and like emptied whatever her trash, and she'll tell us, the viewers, what she thinks is worth spending the money on, and if she's repurchased it and all of that. So that's something that I wanted to add into these little wrap-ups, because we are talking about finances and, you know, trying to spend our money more, what is the word, thoughtfully, be more thoughtful about how we spend our money. That's not the exact word that I'm looking for. I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for. My brain is not functioning very well today. I just wanted to throw this in because I just feel like it just fits with the whole theme of the video. So I went ahead and created a no buy, low buy list. So these are things that I am either saying that I am not going to buy any more of, or I am going to like really limit what I buy and what I spend money on moving forward. So it's a short list at the moment. I'm sure that as time goes on, there'll be some other things that I could think of that I wanted to add to the list, but for now, these are what we are focusing on, really trying to reduce the spending. So first and foremost, books. Books. I have so many so many options available to me if I want to get a book. I have a library card. I live in town close to the library. It's a 5-minute drive from my house to the library, and they have a really great selection of books. There's so many books there. I also have Kindle Unlimited, and there are so many free books on there. I have a whole bookshelf right next to me with over 100 books on it that I have not read. So therefore, I do not need to be going out and buying more books, because I have plenty to pick from. I also have a stack of books sitting here on my desk that you can't see that people have loaned me, like books that they've loaned me to read. So I've got books coming out the wazoo. Okay, I don't need to be going out and filling tote bags and Barnes & Noble bags and like whatever on new books, okay? I don't need to do it. So those are on the no buy list, okay? No, except for maybe a special edition. If it's like one of those situations, here's my excuse, here's my exception to the rule, whatever. If it is a book that I could not get anywhere, like a limited edition, will never be out again kind of a situation of a book that I absolutely love, okay? Not just a book that has like really pretty sprayed edges that I think would look cool on the shelf but I've never read, or a book that I read and didn't like but it looks really pretty. No. A book that I loved, enjoyed, and need to have the special edition of. Okay, that's the only exception. And I say that now because I have already bought one of those books. So yeah. The second no buy, low buy item is Halloween decor. This is not a total no buy, okay? This is a low buy. We are going to limit the amount of Halloween decor that we buy, because the reason why it's not a no buy is because Halloween decor brings me joy, and also I am transitioning my house from being the basic boho bitch vibe to the like gothic Halloween lair that I really would love for it to be. So a lot of my Halloween decorations stuff are things that are gonna be out all year round. So it's like home decor now. It's not just Halloween decor, it's home decor, okay? And seeing it brings me joy, it makes me happy. Bringing it into my house makes me happy, and all of that. And I also do host a Halloween party every year, so I am going to have to buy some decorations and things for that as well. I do plan on DIYing as much as I possibly can, because we're gonna try and save money that way, but I know that there are gonna be some things that I'm gonna have to buy for that. So we're limiting. I need to have some joy in my life here. Another huge no buy for sure, candles. I have a whole cabinet full of candles in my kitchen, and for whatever reason I rarely burn candles in this house. I don't know why, but I continue buying them. I love to go to Bath and Body Works and look at the candles. I love at Marshall's, TJ Maxx. Oh, if I find a really good smelling candle and has a cute cup like design on the outside, I'm taking it home. Do I need it? No. Am I gonna burn it? Probably not. I've had candles sitting up in that cabinet for well over a year that they're just collecting dust. We're not buying candles anymore, okay? We're not buying them. Another no buy, hand soap. Again, I have so much hand soap underneath my kitchen cabinet. There was a period there where I kind of just went a little bit ham and just bought a whole bunch of like the Mrs. Meyer's hand soaps and some other like smelly good hand soaps from different, like the Crumble collection and some just Marshalls and TJ, whatever. There's so much sitting under my kitchen cabinet. I don't need any more. And then the final no buy item, okay, no buy. This was the last one. It's tumblers, okay? Again, I have an obsession with tumblers. I have a collection of them, an entire cabinet full of tumblers, more than one person could ever need, okay, realistically. And as much as I love my hydro jugs, the no leak hydro jugs, the Stanleys are phenomenal, the Walmart tumblers that are $6 and super cheap, I love them all, okay? I don't need any more. And I cannot justify just because it's Halloween themed or my favorite color or whatever, I can't be using those as excuses to go out and buy them because I do not need more tumblers, okay? Are they cute? Yes. Can I admit that they're cute? Yes. Can I buy them and take them home? No. No. Say it with me now. No. So that's gonna be a struggle for sure. All of this is gonna be a struggle, but I have faith that I can do it, that I can get through this. It'll be totally fine. Now, finally, on to my empties for the month of July. The things that I used up that I either will repurchase or will not purchase again. What is worth the money? Drumroll, please. All right, first up, talking about hand soap, we have the Crumble Strawberry Crumb Cake collection with Dove. This is something that I'm not gonna buy again. Okay, it was honestly not worth the money. It was pricier just because of the collaboration, and I personally didn't think that the smell was that great. I literally only got this because I wanted to be like I wanted to be like the other influencers that I saw out there, and I wanted to have something fun, like the fun collaboration. I wanted to love it. I wanted to love it so much and be a part of the cool kids club that I bought it. And then I hated the smell of it, quite frankly. And I'm so happy when this thing was emptied because that means I only have one left to go. And then we're done smelling this gross strawberry that I do not like. So that 100% trash, not repurchasing. Next up we have this Mainstays Caribbean Orange candle. Now it is not burned all the way down, but every time that I light it, this candle's been sitting out in my living room for like so long. Every time I light it, it doesn't burn down at all. I can't smell it. I can't smell it at all. It's not burning down. I think the candle's done with me and I'm done with it. Okay, I love the Mainstays candles because they are a little bit cheaper, but you also kind of get what you pay for with some of them. And this one's just, it's had its run. But, you know, candles are on the no-buy list, so I'm not going to be repurchasing that one. I'm not going to be buying any candles to replace it. I have plenty in my cabinet. We're going to set them out instead. Now we're just going to move on to the beauty products, so that's pretty much all that I have left. So first we have our Garnier Micellar Water. This is something that I'm always going to repurchase. Every single time that I go through it, I use it to take my makeup off every single night. I use it to touch up my makeup while I'm doing it in the mornings and just all of that. Abso-freaking-lutely love this stuff. Yeah, I will always repurchase that. It's worth the money for me. It works really well for me and my skin, and I love it. Next we have this Amika Soul Food hair mask. I freaking love this. This is one of the best hair masks that I have ever bought, and I've tried a bunch of them, but this Amika one is absolutely amazing. It works really well even on my fine thin hair that I was blessed with. I do find it to be very nourishing. I think it works really well. I have not repurchased it yet, but I am going to repurchase it here soon at some point because my hair needs it, especially we're still healing the hair after all of the dye jobs and everything like that. So yeah, definitely I need to have a hair mask to try and keep these locks healthy, because we're finally starting to grow a little bit and look a little bit better, and I want to stay on that journey too. So definitely that's worth the money. Next, I have this Secret Clinical Strength deodorant. I bought the clinical strength one because your girl sweats a lot, okay? I don't know if that's TMI or not, but I'm a sweaty bitch, okay? I sweat a lot when I'm cold, I sweat when I'm hot, I sweat when I'm anxious. We sweat all the time, and I definitely need to have a deodorant that is going to be able to keep up with the perspiration, the smell, all of it. Do I think that this was the best deodorant? No. I actually ended up not repurchasing this. I bought a different deodorant to try out. It's called Carp. That was a very expensive deodorant. It was $20, I think, for one can, or whatever this is called, a canister. I don't even know. But I'm hoping that it works a little bit better than this, because this helped as far as like keeping me from being smelly, but as far as the perspiration goes, which is like my biggest concern, this did nothing. It didn't stop it at all. So I probably won't be repurchasing this, and we're gonna try out the Carp and we'll see how that goes. Okay, next we have this Thayer's Witch Hazel face toner. This isn't an empty, but it's something that I'm getting rid of because I've had it for years now, and I don't use this toner on my face. I need to kind of go in and research more a good skincare routine for me. I think I have a fairly decent, like, basic good skincare routine now that I think I have it kind of figured out now, and this is not fitting into it at all. That's not something that has ever worked for me, in my opinion. I don't like using it. I don't want it. It's old, and I'm not going to be repurchasing that. We're just gonna throw it out. Next, we have our Maybelline Sky High mascara. I have already repurchased this. I love this mascara. I think it works great. I think it's phenomenal. Then we have the Butter Bronzer from Physicians Formula. I've had this bronzer for so long, and I finally hit pan, and like all the pan. We're done with it finally. Not saying that in a way of like it's bad. I would repurchase this again. Because I really did like this bronzer. However, I went and purchased a NYX bronzer instead because I really wanted to try their Butter Bronzer, and that is a pigmented bronzer, oh my goodness. But I really like this one as well, so we'll see. I might go back to it after I finish the NYX one. Haven't quite decided yet, but I mean, I definitely recommend this. And then lastly, we have my tried and true Laneige lip balm, the expensive lip balm that's like $20 almost for this little baby tube, but this does last me a long time. I will admit, like, this lasts me like a couple, 2-3 months at least. It lasts a long time. I love the mango flavor, whatever you want to call it. I did repurchase one of these, but when I was at Target the other day, I saw e.l.f. had come out with some lip balms that looked really similar, at least packaging wise, to this, and they were really cheap. They were like $3 or something like that for two, which is a huge cost difference. Granted, they were much smaller, but I did buy them because I want to try them out and see how they compare to the Laneige, because as much as I love this, it is really hard to justify spending $16-17 on a little tube of lip balm, on just one tube of lip balm. Okay, it is kind of hard to justify that. So if those e.l.f. ones work out well and they last a long time and whatever, then we might be switching to those. I will keep you guys posted, but for now, I'm sticking with this because I absolutely love it. So that is it for the empties and whatever, and for the whole entire wrap up here. I think if there's anything I left out, or you have questions on anything, let me know down in the comments, like if there's something you want me to cover in the next wrap up or whatever. I went into this thinking that I had a plan, and then my brain kind of was just like ping, 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 ping. So I really don't know if any of this was something that you could follow, because yeah, I don't know if I was following myself the whole video. So yeah, like I said, any questions, comments, concerns, all of that, please drop them down in the comments. And yeah, if you are on a debt-free financial journey as well, I'm wishing you the best of luck. We got this, we can do this, we can keep moving. It'll be fine. Just think of the end goal, we'll get there one way or another, and it'll be worth it in the end. So that is gonna do it for me today. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!